these two can keep a secret if one of them is dead.
Honestly, guys, I'm really not even sure how this review is going to go because I really don't know if I can accurately put into words how I feel about A-Day. But I'm going to try. Before I begin, though, I just want to throw it out there, if it's not obvious enough already, if you have not watched last night's episode yet, do not watch this review. Turn it off right now, because obviously I'm going to be talking about who A is, obviously there's going to be spoilers, and I don't want to be responsible for ruining anyone's A-Day, even though ironically, mine was ruined by watching the episode. So, after 2 years of grueling suspense and this big build-up of how shocked everyone was going to be when they found out who A was, and how shocked the cast was to find out who A was, Mona's A. Mona. The most obvious suspect throughout this entire series, and the same person who is A in the books, is A. Really? No, but really? How is that supposed to make me feel? Am I supposed to be surprised by this? Because she's been so normal or something? So disappointed. Like, beyond words. Most anticlimactic thing I have ever seen in my life. I mean, if you read the books, it was completely ruined for you. And I mean, I didn't read the books, but one of my friends did, and I allowed her to tell me who A was in the books because all of the cast members have been saying this whole time that they're not going in the direction of the books. A is not the same person in the books. Talk about Pretty Little Liars. Like, I totally get why she's A. Her motive makes perfect sense. I get it. But they seriously thought that they were cute and did some reverse psychology on us. Like, oh, she's so obvious. They're not gonna think it's her. Let's make it Mona. Not appreciated. Thanks. Honestly, I'm just gonna stop talking about it and leave it at that because, like I said before, I'm almost at a loss of words when it comes to explaining how I feel about Mona being A. So, I'm done. I will say, however, she pulled off batshit crazy surprisingly very well. So, as much as I was disappointed with the A reveal, I was that happy to find out that Maya had died. That is so bad. Although, now we get to hear Emily bitch about it the entire 3rd season because you know she will. Which is almost worse than Maya just being alive because it's like she's gone, yet we're still talking about her. Why are we still talking about her? I love Caleb more with every day that passes. I had a feeling that whole Toby thing was an act, and I'm really glad that I was right because that was freaking adorable. Spoby for life! Okay, now on to my theories. I don't think that Mona was the same A that was harassing Allison before she died. Mona said to Spencer in the car that she was over Allison, she didn't care about Allison, and that basically her whole motive was about the 4 girls and how she was getting revenge for taking Hannah away from her. That being said, I think that Mona is the A that was harassing the 4 girls, but then the person who was harassing Allison is the person who visited Mona in the mental hospital at the end of the episode with the red coat. Clearly, Mona is working for whoever that person is with that comment about, I did everything you asked me to do, which, if you'll recall, is pretty much the exact same thing that Dr. Sullivan said to A after she was kidnapped and they were at that diner. So I think that whoever that person was in the red coat visiting Mona, they are like the head A in charge. The HAIC, if you will. Because obviously there's more than one A, and it's annoying me that so many people are surprised by this. Also, I think that whoever it is the Black Swan, Allison, or her twin. Yes, I know that I was totally bashing the idea of Allison being alive, but now I'm kind of on board for it because after this whole letdown with the A thing and it totally not being a surprise, I'd be down for something off the wall like this to happen. Although really, they might as well just make it Jenna if they're gonna stick with this whole let's make it the most obvious person in the world theme. Now, as far as who I think is the Black Swan, I have 4 theories. The first one is Allison/Vivian. And I say slash, not or, for a reason. And before I explain this theory, obviously Allison would have to be alive for this to actually happen. So for a minute, we're just gonna pretend that Allison is alive. Okay? Okay. If you haven't seen the movie The Black Swan, spoiler alert, the girl is a schizophrenic. So I'm thinking that maybe Allison wasn't dressing up as Vivian to go undercover and find out more about A and all that like we're led to believe. Like maybe she wasn't even pretending to be Vivian. Maybe she has schizophrenia and thinks that she really is Vivian half the time. Hence the Black Swan costume as a way for the show to foreshadow. Also in The Black Swan, the girl has an affair with her teacher, so that could explain all the Lolita references. And of course they'd still have to have a pretty kick-ass explanation considering she's supposedly been dead this entire time, but I could definitely see it happening. And as long as it's logical and makes sense, I think it'd be insanely awesome. Plus, if it does turn out that it's Allison/Vivian, that would further explain why Mona was A. Because when you think about it, bowing down to Allison/Vivian's every whim could have been another attempt for Mona to be popular and finally be accepted by Allison. Second theory, and I know it's going to sound completely far-fetched, but bear with me. Hannah's mom. I know, just hear me out. Watch the finale again and pause it on The Black Swan. She looks very, very, very similar to Ashley Marin. And I'm not sure exactly what her motive would be, but I think that the idea has some potential. Maybe it could have something to do with depression from the divorce. Maybe she's actually in cahoots with Wilden, maybe even Garrett. Maybe they're just trying to throw us off by making her so adamant about finding out who A is and protecting her baby girl, because she said stuff like that all the time, like how protective she is of Hannah. Plus, Marlene King, who is the author and the producer of the show, said that the finale had a huge psycho theme to it, which clearly it did. But now I'm thinking maybe it goes further than the finale. I don't know if you guys have seen Psycho, but in that movie, the main girl steals a huge amount of money from a bank. Who else did that? I don't know, I'm just throwing it out there. I'm probably reading too much into it like I do with everything else. Third theory is Melissa. The Black Swan looked very, very similar to her too, although they didn't have a baby bump. So if it were to turn out that Melissa was the Black Swan, that would have to mean that she's been faking her pregnancy this whole time, which I definitely wouldn't put that past her. Although I'm not sure what the point of doing that would be, but then again, Melissa is a Looney Tune. I really, really, really hope it's not her though, because that is way too obvious, and that would just be the Mona thing all over again. Fourth theory is that it's someone completely new that we haven't seen yet that we're going to be introduced to in the next season, which would be insanely lame, but is a definite possibility. Honestly, I think one of my favorite things about this show, honestly, one of my favorite things is they waste no time in between seasons. The third season premieres on June 5th, which is a Tuesday. It's back on Tuesdays, so that means my reviews will be moved to Wednesdays, obviously. So that means we only have to wait 3 months. That's awesome. These producers must really know their fans because they know that longer than 3 months and there's gonna be riots. Well guys, it's been real. Had some good laughs along the way, but you will for sure see me again on June 6th. Until then, I'm going to try to make my life more interesting so that I can have more vlogs and things like that. And I'm going to attempt to have a video every other week for you, if not every week. I'm going to see what I can do. But other than that, I will see you guys on June 6th. Be there or be square. That was really lame.
'Cause two can keep a secret if one of them is dead.